Welcome to another vlog style video where I'm going to bring you guys along with me in my day-to-day of my 3D print business and kind of YouTube side of things as well and what's going on. We got a lot of cool things in as far as upgrades for the Bamboo Lab A1 series printers, and there's some really cool filaments I want to show you guys. And then we're going to go over sales and some stuff I'm going to be listing and just how things have been going in general. So let's get right into it. So as far as Etsy goes for this month, it is May 17th and we've had a total of 6 orders so far. So not the best, but you know, it's not the worst either, so I will take it. But we do have one order we have to ship out, and they're these ammo buddies right here. So those are pretty cool, and they're actually right over here. I already have them printed out. These are the ones I printed out for the photos, but they're good to go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use these to ship out. I do have this box here that I'm going to put them in. I'll wrap them up in the bubble wrap just so they stay protected. And these are just some cheap boxes I got off of Amazon, and they've been working great. We're just going to go ahead and get these weighed for shipping. 3.2 ounces. I'm going to type that in. So I just used the unusual package one since I'm not using USPS's package. Put in the weight, the dimensions, and then I verified their address. I had to change they actually didn't have a space between the 107, so I just went ahead and changed it so it's UPS verified now. Hit review, we're good to go. I'm gonna hit purchase. And then I print out a packing slip to put in the package and then the shipping label itself. So I'm just gonna throw in one of my stickers and then the packing label, and then we are good to go. And that's it, the order's complete. So as much as I hate the fees that Etsy charges, they make it super easy to where all I have to do is verify the dimensions and weight of the package, print the label, and that's it. They handle everything else. Well then, I guess I gotta drop this off at UPS, which I'm gonna go do real quick. So we just had a big storm come through the area and we lost power briefly, and I forgot I was having this print out. And when I came back in here, it said I could resume the printing because there is that function in here to where if you do have a temporary power loss, it will resume. And I want to see how it worked out. So this thing was actually pretty fresh into the print when the power went out, but it doesn't look like there's any issues with the print. So luckily I didn't lose this print. Wouldn't have been a big deal just because it's pretty small, but glad I didn't have to waste this. And that was the bottom to this ammo capsule right here that I'm actually printing out. It holds 22 long rifle rounds, and basically just something different to hold your ammo other than just your standard box. It just screws on there, and kind of a cool little thing. It's super small and a lot easier to fit in your bag or something than just a long box of ammo. Just gives you a lot more options with this, and the cool thing is they are stackable. So I am a patron to this designer, so I'm able to print these out and sell these, and they came out pretty cool. However, my problem is I can never figure out what color to make things in. So I just went ahead and printed off a bunch of different colors that I think would be good for the audience that's kind of looking for this kind of stuff. But one with kind of a matte color on most of these, just so it kind of hides the layer lines a little bit more. But I'm going to be posting these on sale for Etsy. And honestly, they don't take a whole lot of time to print. I think the top and bottom each take about an hour or so to print. So I can print a bunch of these. I'm just going to offer the lower end just as matte black, and then they can pick the color for the top. And then that's not a big issue for doing custom orders on those. But keeping the bottom one color definitely helps with that. And then there's larger versions that I'm doing as well for all the other style calibers. So he's got a bunch of different designs, or just one that has a simple caliber that you want on there. And again, they're just really cool. They hold about 55 rounds, which is a little bit more than your standard ammo pack, but gives you a little bit more option if you do order your ammo in bulk, and just kind of a cool way to store your ammo, something a little bit different and customizable. And again, they are stackable. So I'll be working on getting these posted, and really interested to see how these sell because I personally think they're really cool. I did get 2 more rolls of filament from UJoy Bio. I wanted to test out the rest of their metallic series PLA. So they sent me the tritium gray and their iron black, and this stuff does look really cool. Can't wait to try this. I have a really cool project that I'm going to use these for to really see how these turn out, but I really like that metallic gold that they sent and that silk gray, so I'm excited to see how these turn out. And then some other filament that came in to test out is from eSun, and man, this stuff is really cool. So this is their chameleon color, silk magic, and then a silk yellow. And this stuff came out really cool. So I printed out a dragon in both. So this one right here is the Silk Magic, and then the Chameleon, and that just looks super awesome. I love both of these colors. Obviously the camera isn't really going to give it justice, especially in this lighting, but these colors came out really cool. No issues with adhesion or print quality. They came out really good. And then I printed out this articulated fox, I think it is, just to kind of see with that Silk Magic. and then these chameleon colors over here, and then this little duck dragon I printed out using that yellow silk. I mean, you can hardly see the layer lines in this stuff. So that stuff came out really cool. I was trying to figure out what to print in yellow. I'm like, I want to do kind of like a cool rubber duck. Well, then I saw this dragon duck model and thought that would be pretty cool to test out. So, but these came out really cool as far as that chameleon color. I really like that color. Came out really nice. They have so many options on their website. I had a hard time picking out which ones to pick, but really glad I went with these and can't wait to try out some more stuff from eSun. Now, I know I originally said I wasn't going to sell dragons, and I like printing out these dragons in just the different colors to see how they come out. This is like one of my favorite dragon models, and then I have my wife paint the eyes and put on these jewel thingies to give it a cool look for the eyes. But I really like these. I've had a lot of friends request these in different colors, so I've actually given several of these away. So I know I said I'm not going to kind of sell this stuff, but I'm thinking about posting these for sale on Etsy, just offering some different colors. And I'm going to price them at what I think is a decent price to sell these. I'm not going to bottom sell, because if they sell, awesome. If not, not a big deal. I like having these things around. So BiQU actually reached out and sent over a few different things for us to try out. One of them is the Panda Lux A1 LED light strip, because if you know anything about the A1s, the light right here sucks. It's really not any good. But there's some times when it's low light in here and I need some more light just to see how the product is doing, or for like time-lapse videos, because I don't use the internal camera for any time-lapse videos. I do a separate like a GoPro or something. And that way I don't have to have my studio light on the whole time during a long print. I can just have these LED lights. So I'm really interested to see how these turn out. And it's supposed to be plug and play. Let's go ahead and open this up and see how plug and play it actually is. So the idea behind this is there's basically just a sticker here where this mounts here. And then this covers the actual light, so it goes over the light. And then when you turn the light on here, this sensors that light, which then turns on the LED strip here. And then it just is all powered by the second slot on the back of your printer. And basically you just zip tie the wire to this right here. So let's go ahead and put it together and see how that turns out. All right, so let's turn on the light. And that is much brighter than that little dinky light that came from the factory. You can see how well it lights up that build plate there. So that's gonna be nice for doing time lapses. I can just have this sit in here or my GoPro and do the long-term time lapses without having to have the studio lights on the entire time. I'm not sure how well the stickiness of this is actually gonna stick, because it was kind of not wanting to stick up there. So I had to really hold it up there for a few minutes. But it seems to be sticking on there now, but we'll see how that holds up once this thing's running for a while. The only other thing I have to do is take the zip ties that they provide you. They give you a couple of them, and then just tie these two together, clean up and do some wire management there. But you can see it's just going into the back of the printer here. So pretty cool upgrade for your A1, and these things are pretty inexpensive. So if you're looking for a better light, this is definitely a good thing to check out from BiQU. And just for reference, I'm gonna show you guys the light over here on the other A1, so you can see just how dinky that is. Like, that doesn't even light up the build plate. Like, yeah, that light is pretty much worthless. And here's a better view of that light from a distance, so you can see how much that actually lights up. It does a lot better. So I got one for the A1 Mini, which I'll be putting on, but just compared to, like, I know it's not dark in here, but normally I don't keep these studio lights on all the time. So having that extra light around here will be nice, especially if you're doing time-lapse videos with an external camera. This should help with the lighting a lot. A couple other things that were sent over from BiQU are these build plates, which I'm sure you've seen on other channels, but I'm really interested to check these out. These are the Cryogrip plates from Panda that they make, and this is the Frostbite and the Glacier. And the difference between the two, other than the color, obviously, this has a little bit more texture than this one. The Glacier is a little bit smoother, but the big difference is the materials that you print these out on. The Frostbite is strictly PLA and PETG only, whereas the Glacier can do those, but it's meant for some of the other plastics as well. If you do PLA or PETG on these, they might stick too well to the Glacier and actually cause issues with your print, especially trying to get those off. So where you can print PLA and PETG on these, they recommend this more for everything else other than those. So really, I'm gonna be using this Frostbite right here, since this is pretty much all I have right now until I get an enclosed printer. We'll be testing that out with the typical stairs as well. A couple other recommendations as far as cleaning. The Frostbite, they say to use water and soap only, and on the Glacier, you can use water, soap, and or alcohol as well. Another cool thing about these is that the bed temperature is gonna be lower with these plates versus your standard PEI ones. And that's gonna help, especially in the summer when I'm in this little room and have all of these printers going at the same time. The beds don't have to heat up as much, so that's gonna help keep the temperatures down in here a little bit, hopefully. But the fact that the bed doesn't have to get up quite as high in heat with these is pretty cool as well. But I wanna do a test on that staircase to see if it is really stickier than the standard textured plate from Bambu Lab. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So I'm just gonna be using the staircase here to see exactly how well that this is actually gonna stick to the plate so it can build it up like this. So on the original A1, which I call my OG, we are gonna do this regular textured plate, the PEI textured plate. So I'm gonna send this to print over there. And then on A1 number 2, I'm gonna send over the same model, but using the cool plate. So I'm gonna change this. They recommend using the cool plate option in the slicer, like I said. So we're gonna do that and send that model over to number 2. I was gonna go straight into the next part of this video, but I forgot how much noise that these machines do on startup. So we'll wait until these things quiet down a little bit and then actually move on. All right, now that these quieted down a little bit, I'll show you my setup right here that I have. And you'll see that I used to have the AMS system next to this printer, but because I'm expecting to get 1, maybe 3 other printers, I needed some more room on the desk. So in preparation for that, I just printed off another one of these top mounts for the AMS system. This is just the one designed by Bambu Lab, and I've had no issues with it. I've had that one on there for quite a while now. Doesn't mess up the prints, doesn't really affect anything, and it's held up great. So I printed off one for this one just to get it up and out of the way and give me some more desk space. But while I was printing this one, I found another cool one that I kind of almost wish I would have seen before, and that's this one right here. This was designed by JJ something. I can't remember his name, but I'll include the link to this design down below. But what this essentially does is a different style. This actually connects to the right leg, and then you mount your AMS system vertically here, and this actually twists. So it's kind of hard to do it with one hand, but it'll move around to give you easy access to change out the filament spools while still keeping a low profile. So I'm probably gonna just swap this out just to try it for a video and see how it looks and works. But I really wish I would have seen this one before I printed that one out, but Mike already had this one printed, so I might as well mount it up there. But if you're looking for a top mount for your AMS Lite system, I would try either one of these. The only thing that I'm worried a little bit with this one is there's only one support on one side, whereas this one obviously supports both sides of the printer. But since this isn't sitting on top, it's sitting on the side, technically you probably don't need that other side supported. So I might put this together eventually, maybe in the next video, and just kind of compare the two and see how well this works. But from the videos and comments I saw on the model, it seems to do pretty well. This was actually originally designed for the A1 Mini, but he printed it out for the A1 series as well. So this is essentially where it would sit. It would just tie into that part of the printer right there, and then it would be vertical. So it'd still add a low profile to this with the ability to maybe access this a little bit easier. Although I don't really have a hard time switching out these filament rolls the way it is, but just another option out there. Something else that BiQU sent over was their Panda Touch. Now you really see these on the P1S machines just because the screens that come with those aren't very good at all, and this just makes it a lot easier to use. They do say that this is able to be used with the A1 and A1 Mini. So as much as I like the A1 Mini, the screen, even though it's the same as the A1, it's just harder to use because the buttons are a little bit smaller. So when I'm hitting buttons on here, I feel like you have to hit them a lot harder, and I don't know, it's just a little more finicky than the bigger size screens on the A1. So I just want to try this out and see how it works. So this is the 5-inch LCD screen that it does come with, and there is a mount if you do have this on your P1S that it'll actually mount to that, and then there's a battery in here, or you can have it powered off your printer, whichever one, and you can actually take this off and take it with you and use until the battery dies on that. But I obviously don't need to connect it to the A1, so I'll probably have it off to the side or something. So I'm just using the internal battery on this to set it up. It's definitely made for the P1 series. As you can see, it does have a picture of one, but We'll just say that this is working with my A1 Mini. So connecting it to the A1 Mini, I just entered the serial number, the IP address, and access code. That can all be found inside your settings on the machine. And you can tell it's connected because it's pretty much matching the bed temperature and everything. So I can control the light. I don't know if you can see that little dinky light, but you are able to control it from here. So let's go to Filament. Again, it's not an A1 Mini pictured there, but it'll work. And it does look like it has all my print history kind of preloaded in here as well. So I can control the filament in here. As you see, I don't have anything loaded up, but let's go ahead and try and load up a filament. And this is where I always had issues right here, is trying to actually hit that. So it isn't giving me the option on here to actually say, yes, filament has been extruded, continue. It's just saying retry. I don't want to retry. We'll just press that on the A1. All right, so it still won't go away with this message right here, but I'm going to see if I can edit the actual PLA that's in there. It already has eSun on there because that's the one that was originally on there. So I'll hit confirm. But for some reason that error is still popping up with the tip. I don't need to retry because it's already been pushed into the tool head and in there, but that's all right. And it does give you the option to add other printers, so I can add the other two A1s to this if I want to. You can actually connect this to your Bamboo Studio account as well. So a lot of cool stuff that you can control on here. And again, it's going to show you all the temperature settings that are going on here. And you can come in here and change some settings on the actual display itself. Here's where you can log into your Bamboo Lab account and then just make sure everything is good on your network. But a lot of cool stuff that you can do with this, especially if you have the P1P or P1S. I think this would be great for that. How I'm going to use that for this printer, I don't know, because basically everything that this has on here, I can do on the app as well. And I really don't have anywhere to mount this because it did come with a clip that is made for the P1S, and I can't really mount this anywhere. So maybe just having it kind of sitting on the desk, and then I do have to use the battery power only, because I can't really connect this to anything to charge other than the wall and just have it charged there. So cool concept. I don't know how much I'm going to use this, like I said, for the A1 Mini. We'll see. I'll still have it here and kind of do some more testing with it and see if I do use it. I'll let you guys know, but definitely recommend this if you have a P1S or P1P. All right, so the staircases are done, and you can see the print actually came out well. So this plate did it very well. I did it in just a Bamboo Lab basic black. And over here on just a Bamboo Lab textured plate, again, you can kind of see model came out really good. One thing I noticed after taking these off the printer is this one is very cool to the touch, but this one is still pretty warm. They got done around the same time. So this temperature on this one is definitely higher than this one. So this one cooled a lot quicker and also did not have to heat up quite as much. All right, so both of these had cooled down. As you can see, just me moving around, they are still stuck to the build plate. Let's start with the Bamboo Lab textured PEI. Still on there, pretty good. Now if I actually pick it up and touch it, just by a little bit of wiggle, it did just kind of fall off there, but still stuck on there good enough and was obviously easy enough to pull off. And then the Cryogrip here, again, still on there. And then let me grab this one. Okay, kind of about the same. So I probably just because I let it cool all the way down, they didn't stick that well. But I mean, for them to print out this model like that and stick until I grabbed it off, which is good because you want to be able to actually have it come off the build plate and not stick to it. So that did well. About the same outcome on both of those. When I put a little bit of force on them, it just kind of came off. But the quality of both prints are actually really good. No issues in any of them. All the layer lines look great. There's no flaws in either of the stair prints. The thing where they were actually stuck to the build plate is kind of where you can see the biggest difference. The one on the PEI plate from Bamboo Lab obviously has its standard texture, pretty kind of a heavy texture. And then the one on the Cryogrip plate does have some texture to it, but you're able to see the layer line's a little bit more on this one. So something to be aware of, you're not gonna have quite the texturing on the Cryogrip one as far as on the finish, but I'm gonna try some bigger projects out to see how they do. I do print a lot of coasters and stuff, so I wanna see how this is actually gonna show up on the finished product versus that one. So it's some more testing on there. Just wanted to do the initial stair test. And well, you saw how that one went, but they printed out the stairs perfectly. So a testament to both of them that they do stick well enough to actually print these out. But this one did print noticeably on a cooler bed temperature. And as far as sales have gone, they've been pretty good. Etsy's been, you know, I think I said I got about a total 6 sales. That was actually on Saturday is when I mailed that off, and today is now Monday. Haven't had any sales since then on Etsy, but I have had quite a few sales on Facebook Marketplace, one of which is somebody ordered 4 of these magazine holders for a CZ457. It just holds the rifle mags. He ordered 4 of them, so I got 4 of them printed out. He's gonna pick those up on Wednesday. I also had a custom order for somebody through my 3D print service ad on Facebook where I printed out these MagSafe rings for a specific desk. It was a pretty easy print, obviously did not cost a lot, printed off in PETG. My thing is I usually charge a $20 minimum on anything just because it needs to be worth my time. So I basically charge them 20 bucks. It costs probably less, you know, around $1 or so to print those off, nothing crazy. But charging like a minimum of $10, is it really worth your time at that point? I don't know. I think at least $20 to print something off is worth my time, and you know, even the filament cost and just the cost of the machine and everything. So I usually do a $20 minimum, which that one met. And depending on the model, the amount of filament and the time the machine is going to be in use is obviously going to change the price of the product. But again, if it's something simple like that, I stick with a $20 minimum. And so far, I haven't had any complaints. They've been pretty happy with that result and that price point. I actually just got an Etsy order in. And as you can see, it is for this dumpster fire that I have. That's really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything pulled for that, and we'll get it packaged up. So this is the model here. This is kind of how I have it set up to sell. Comes with 3 of these articulated raccoons. I think are pretty cool. Comes with a trash can, a few banana peels, a gas can, a trash can, and then a large dumpster with everything is fine on it. And to get that actual effect of the flame, I just had this printed out in clear PETG. So that kind of looks like a flame, and then I have a tea candle that it sits on in there, kind of gives off that fire effect. So I'll go ahead and get these packaged up. Usually the small stuff I'll just kind of throw in the trash can and get that closed up, and then we'll get everything else packaged. I have these bulk bubble wraps that I got off Amazon for really cheap, so I just use a bunch of these. And so I'll go ahead and just put the tea candle inside the dumpster, and then I'll go ahead and wrap this up just because it is pretty thin and brittle. Wrap that up and just stick that in the dumpster so make sure that doesn't get damaged or anything during shipping. And then I'll put the raccoons in a bag. And then I'll put the trash can and trash bag in its own bag. And this is just a piece of bubble wrap I kept from an old packaging, so that was completely free. And get everything boxed up. And then I just got some more paper from the garage, and I'll just put it in here just to give it a little bit more protection. We'll get it taped up and get a label printed out and get it shipped off. I do have a big project coming up that I think is going to be really cool. It's going to take quite a bit of time to actually do this project, so the video is going to take a little while before I can come out with it, but it's going to be definitely involved. I'm hopefully working with a company on the filament, on sponsoring that project, and then I've been in touch with the modeler of the build I'm doing and had a cool conversation and cool things that he's doing. And so if you're somebody that is getting bored with your 3D printer and just printing off stuff that are simple, or you're getting sick of printing off fidget toys and stuff like that, this project is really going to show you what these printers can do as far as the quality and some really cool things that you can print out, but it does take time. And so that'll be a video that I'll be working on kind of throughout the next month or so. Just depends on how quickly I can get the filament, and it's probably going to take about a week or so to print everything off if I have all 3 of these going at the same time. But we'll see. I'll definitely be working on that, and when that video comes out, you guys will know. And I'm really excited to showcase what you can actually do with these printers. Even being somebody that's new to 3D printing with not a lot of experience like myself, this is something that you'll be able to do. Even if you don't have an AMS system, there is a way to work around that. So basically, if you have any modern printer, you'll be able to do this project as well. Like I said earlier, I am looking into getting 1 or 2 other printers. I do have the Elegoo Century Carbon on order. I have no idea when that's coming. It says shipping probably at the end of July, but who knows? Hopefully it comes sooner. But in the meantime, it looks like there's going to be some good sales possibly coming out in June, and maybe even some new releases from some other companies. So possibly I'll be looking at getting another one here soon in the next couple weeks. Really thinking about getting a P1S just because that is a tried and true machine. A lot of people like it. It's good for print farms, and I already have a screen for it. So that might be one that I've really been considering. I know in that last video I said you pick my next printer. Didn't get as many comments as I thought that was actually gonna get, but a lot of people did mention, you know, the P1S or just stick with the Bambu Lab platform since that's what I have. That is definitely a great idea to do. Another one that popped up a lot was FlashForge. And I am thinking about waiting until their 5DX or whatever it is, their multicolor one that's coming out. I did reach out to them and tell them I was thinking about getting the 5M or 5M Pro because a lot of people did recommend those, but they actually recommended that I wait until the multicolor one comes out. So they seem really excited about the 5X when that's coming out as well, especially if they're telling me to wait and hold off. So I think they're really excited about that. So I signed up for their email notifications for when that does become available, hopefully here in June, that I'll be able to pick one of those up and really try that out, since you guys did recommend a FlashForge printer. But I still want to get the P1S probably just because I want to get something else in the Bambu Lab platform that isn't just the A1 series. So I think in the P1S might be a good option, especially since Bambu Lab decided to drop their prices again like they never should have gone up. So hopefully they'll be making that up by giving us some good sales here in the future, because they really did screw that one up. But if you guys like this kind of content, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. It's totally free for you, and you'll be notified when I come out with future videos. And until that point, go ahead and check out these videos right here.